Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
After over 10 hours of deliberations, a verdict came down.
We find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
Jennifer Crumbley found guilty on all 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in what has now become a landmark ruling for an unprecedented case. We are still breaking down that jury's decision tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pamela Osborne.
I'm Kimberly Gill. Let's get you quickly caught up on how we got to this point. All told, the jury sat and listened through 7 full days of testimony, during which the prosecution called 21 witnesses. The defense only called Crumbley herself to the stand. And then today, just after 1 p.m., the jury found her guilty on all charges. Sean Lay was in the courtroom as the verdict was read. Sean, what can you tell us about the feel inside the courtroom and what deliberations were like?
Intense field deliberations taking yesterday and today. Had a feeling after lunch today we would hear one way or the other if they were going to continue into the afternoon or come back with a verdict. Came right back with a verdict. Now, juries do not have to speak to the media or publicly after any of these trials, but the foreperson of this jury did speak with us, and she talked about the deciding factor in this case.
It was very difficult. It wasn't an easy decision. Lives hung in the balance, and we took that very seriously.
She was the jury foreperson who just found Jennifer Crumbley responsible for the deaths of Madison Baldwin, Tate Meir, Justin Schilling, and Hannah St. Juliana. She does not want to identify herself, but was willing to give us a glimpse inside the jury room as the jury deliberated for a day and a half. The question to her, did members of the jury have to convince each other to come to its verdict?
I will say both sides were well represented.
Oh, okay.
Both sides likely meaning at the start of deliberations, one side was finding Crumbley not guilty, the other guilty. But just after lunch today, the jury came back with its verdict. Each jury member asked if their finding was guilty, each saying yes.
Jury seat number 8, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes. What was the deciding factor in finding Crumbley guilty? The final image shown to the jury before they began deliberations.
The thing that really hammered it home is that she was the last adult with the gun. And that's where I'll end my comment. Thank you.
Back here live now, prosecutor Karen McDonald did not speak after this landmark decision by the jury, this long, difficult trial, because there still remains a gag order in this case. James Crumbley, the husband, goes on trial in a month from now. That gag order remains in effect. Rod Maloney has been all over this courts complex gathering reactions to today's verdict. Rod, I understand you got a chance to speak with Justin Schilling's father.
Yes, Greg Schilling spoke with us today at length, as a matter of fact, and one of the things that he was deeply concerned about was Jennifer Crumbley's testimony. Now, a lot of the parents have been monitoring this, but he was physically here and he was listening, and he said listening to Jennifer Crumbley was particularly troubling.
I'd like to think that as a human being in a situation that we're in, that, you know, you wouldn't have a level of respect and a level of honesty about you to project something positive in this situation, and I didn't really take anything or take much good out of that whole testimony.
Greg Schilling carefully took in Jennifer Crumbley's explanation on the stand of what she did and why, and her admission that she'd have done nothing differently hit him hard.
I felt a slap in my face. And it hurts. Something like that hurts because I would do a lot differently.
As for the jury, whose roughly 12 hours of deliberations brought these verdicts,
they were diligent with their decision. They know and they understand the gravity of the situation, and they know the importance of this case, and the fact that they came out with the verdict that they did, it shows that the people have spoken and the people are tired of the uncertainty of every day.
And as he said all along, he thinks of his son Justin every day and spoke of him as he wrapped up his remarks.
He loved life and he deserved to live it.
And so he says now he will be watching closely the James Crumbley trial. He also thinks that there should be some problem or some prosecution of Oxford school administrators who were involved with the meeting in this case. But he also said that that's really up to the prosecutor's office. He says he trusts the prosecutor's office to handle that in the way they see fit. Reporting live from Pontiac, Rod Maloney.
Yeah. Okay, Rod, we appreciate it. And reaction is pouring in from across Metro Detroit and across the state.
We spoke with Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard. He says today's ruling is about accountability.
What it says is if there's a lot of things that have happened and you saw the potential that this was going to go in a very bad direction, either with self-harm or harm to someone else, and you do nothing, not only that, you make it worse by buying a weapon for that child and leaving it unsecured, there's consequences. That, I think, is the message.
Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel also agreed with the verdict. She added that Michigan's new safe storage laws, which go into effect next month, will hopefully keep another case like this from happening again.
It won't be a matter of having to show gross negligence that a parent didn't properly secure a weapon. It's strict liability, meaning you have to secure that weapon when there are minors that reside in the household or that, frequently visit the household.
We'll have more reaction for you tonight at 11, but for now you can see a recap of this trial and how we got to today right now on clickondetroit.com. There you can read moment-by-moment updates about what happened each day. You can also find deep dives into some of the notable moments from the trial at clickondetroit.com. And since Jennifer Crumbley's trial is now over, attention now shifts to her husband's upcoming trial.
James Crumbley also faces 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, and he will have a separate trial in March. During Jennifer's trial, she testified that her husband was in charge of making sure the firearms were secure in their home. We'll see if that is touched on again in that trial. The trial will start with jury selection, which could take a few days.
New at 6.
Our other top story tonight, one man is dead after an attempted car robbery turns into a shooting. It took place at the All-Star Beverage on Detroit's west side near West Chicago and Myers.
Victor Williams has more on what police are saying about the investigation.
Well, this memorial right here is nothing but a sad reminder of just how heartbreaking this story is. One man simply at work walks out to take out the trash. That's when he notices some people trying to steal his vehicle. What happens after that is truly tragic.
Terry was cool. He was a decent guy. He didn't deserve what he got. So that doesn't make no sense.
Police are looking for the men responsible for killing 43-year-old father and husband Teodato during what's being described as a fatal carjacking.
He made an attempt to run up to the car. There was an individual that jumped out of it as a burgundy Hyundai, fired 4 rounds in his direction.
Saturday, February 3rd, around 11:15 p.m. is when Ter noticed his car being stolen while he was at work. He died on the scene after taking multiple bullets, but police were able to get a look at the 4 suspects believed to be between the ages of 16 and 21.
One young man had a black hoodie, black mask. One young man had a white hoodie with a partial mask on. Our shooter, who had a 9mm handgun, he had a blue and black jacket on.
The 4 suspects never got away with the car and took off in a burgundy Hyundai. Police are now looking for any assistance in locating the men inside of the vehicle.
It's missing its front bumper. It's very noticeable.
Now hopefully the police catch these criminals that did this. My prayers go out to his family.
And police want to hear from you if you know anything. The number to call is 1-800-SPEAK-UP to leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Okay, Victor, and police also say they need help finding a 1-month-old baby girl out of Auburn Hills who may be in danger. Eliza Prowell Smith was last seen Friday at an apartment complex on South Boulevard in Auburn Hills. Police believe the infant is with her mother, Amanda Prowell Smith, who has history with mental illness. If you have any information on where they might be, call Auburn Hills Police or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP.
When it comes to social media, it's become increasingly difficult to determine what's real and what's not. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, is aiming to unblur the lines ahead of the presidential election.
The thing is that people, the general public, is not really aware about that you have these powerful AI algorithms that can generate these images that look very real, and it's difficult to tell them apart from actual images.
But in the coming months, you'll notice something new in your Facebook and Instagram feeds. Images created by artificial intelligence will soon display an imagined with AI label.
Having those visual indicators that these things have been generated by AI and they're not real is something that is going to encourage people and let them know that, again, make their own decisions.
Sunny Raj is an AI researcher and associate professor of computer science and engineering at Oakland University. He says those labels should help alert people to disinformation, but warns there are shortcomings.
We can have organizations outside of this country where they have the same technology, or we can have algorithms that are open source, which you can tweak on your own. And then the images that you generate from them, they will not have this watermark.
In today's announcement, Meta said it doesn't yet have the ability to apply those labels to audio and video made with AI, adding the industry as a whole is working towards that capability.